What a day, 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 what a day. It is the work from home day, but you be working, and I've been working today. Okay, have you been working? Because I've been working. I got the 2 laptops set up. I got the office on lockdown as well. It's been a whole situation from this work from home day. But it is now after 5, and it's raining outside, and I got a little juice in my cup. But I said I was going to do a video today. So welcome. I'm Kay Hall, your neighborhood trichologist from the state of Maryland. And I'm a little bit silly and goofy, but on this side of TikTok, this is an education platform. And tonight I wanted to discuss alopecia, right? Alopecia is an umbrella term for hair loss. You may know a coworker or a friend who said that they have alopecia, or they went to a dermatologist and got a diagnosis of alopecia. And that just means to us professionals that you have hair loss. We actually would like to know the type of hair loss that you have. So there are over 30 different types of alopecias that we mostly deal with in the clinic. I think there's a couple more, but for the most part, we see around 30 or so. Today, we're going to talk about traction alopecia. Traction alopecia is tension pulling. And most people think that it's just in the hairline area, which would be that, for my girls that wear the wigs, that 13/4 area, right? From the hairline back to the crown and then from ear to ear. But did you know that traction alopecia can happen anywhere on the scalp? How do you think we got into knotless braids, community? This is how we got there. Once upon a time, back when Poetic Justice was the movie to go see back in the day, and even before then, but that's what made it popular. We used to wear the big braids, the big chunky braids, and we had these huge knots that were at the base of the scalp, all in our hairline, all in the nape. We had those white bumps on the back of our neck because it was too tight. And eventually people started losing plugs of hair because that section that was carved out for that one piece was entirely too tight at the base, because that synthetic hair was wound and braided too tightly. So now we're doing knotless braids, which actually is not as bad. I'm a fan of knotless braids. It releases the tension from the scalp, and as long as they're not too big and not too heavy for the hair that it's braided on, because that's something different too. Not every client has equal rights when it comes to this braiding situation. You may not have the density. You may not have the thickness that can support the type of braid that you want, okay? I see a lot of videos of young ladies getting knotless braids, and they're like, oh, they're too skinny, or they look boneless, or they look this. Baby, it depends on you. What kind of hair you got? What kind of hair you have. If you have thin hair, if you have hairline that is thinned out or missing, or your hair has low density, the person did what they were able to do with what you gave them to work with. Okay? All right, so I'm not going to get on that horse. Let's move on. Traction alopecia. Yes. When you go back to back in services with no break, you remember Drake when he came out with the record back to back? Okay, when you go back to back in services and you don't get a follicle rest, it's going to give up on you. It's going to give up on you. It's going to say bye, and it's not going to come back, okay? For some people, when you go back to back to back to back to back, all that stress on the hairline, and whether that stress is from braiding, whether that stress is from wig usage, whether that stress in the front is from, cornrows or stitch braiding, whatever it is, or even submitting your hairlines into submission. Baby hairs, that over direction, that over combing, that over brushing. Something to be said about that. It's gonna give up. Okay. I like natural baby hairs, I like natural baby hairs. But if you are cutting hair and redirecting it in a direction that it's not supposed to go, to do the whoop-de-whoops and the swirls and stuff, yeah, it's cute. It would make me itch. I don't like a whole bunch of hair on my face like that. But eventually your hairline is going to give up on you. So know the signs that you're seeing. Sometimes when you take your braids out and you look in your hairline and you see like some little white stuff at the base and you're thinking like, oh, my hair is dirty. And then you wash it and then you blow dry it and then it's still there. That is the first sign that you have some extenuating hair loss on your hands, okay? Because not only did you pull the follicle out, you have now pulled out what the follicle sits in. I'm not going to get into terms and stuff. I don't want to make it too scientific, but that white casing, what the follicle sits into, you've now yanked that out as well. And there's going to have to be some restoration and recovery. So there are things that you can do to help prevent that, getting treatments, giving yourself a follicle rest in between services, and allowing your hair time to rebound and recover, right? And I'm saying that as a professional who you are watching right now, who has crochets in. I wear crochets in the summer. I am a natural girly. I put it in June 1st. I went through maybe 6 or 7 weeks with that. I did a follicle rest and then I went back in, and these will be coming out probably by the end of the month for silk press season, because I love a good silk press, honey. Okay. And I gave myself a follicle rest. And with that follicle rest, I gave myself a treatment, scalp treatment, and tendril treatment for hair fibers, okay? Because it's important for me to protect that hair in between services as well. So if you would like to know more, I'm not going to go on a tangent. If you want to know more about traction alopecia, let me know in the comments. Maybe I'll go live and we can talk about some of the different types of alopecias, because this is Alopecia Awareness Month and I love that for us. If you want to know more, go to the website. I have a whole page dedicated to hair loss. I also have a platform on Instagram. You can follow me at Crystal Hall, 2 L's on Crystal and 2 L's on Hall. And I have a whole page dedicated to hair loss over there as well. You can book a free consultation with me. Let me know what you want to do. I would love to talk with you. All right.